Welcome back to AwardBusters for our 2018 Gaming Year in Review, which is basically the Game of the Year episode, right?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, those voices you hear, of course, well, mine, so I'm Brian, but also with me, just two of us today, well, three of us today total. Steven?
Yeah.
And Rayce.
Yep.
Tyler, God rest his soul.
I sounded agitated when I said yeah. Let me redo that. Yeah!
That's much better. Sounds
Okay.
much more lively. Tyler was not able to join us, and Alex either, so it's just us today, but we're going to go over sort of 2018, the year in review. When it comes to video games, a great year. I would argue not the best year, but some people think it is. And we'll have a couple of predictions for 2019 as well. You guys cool with that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Excellent. So let's start. Before we get into what we're going to do is our top five. We're going to go through the top 5 games we played that came out in the 2018 calendar year. But first, we're going to talk about the games that didn't make our list. Steven, why don't you go first?
Okay, so these are all honorable mentions, right?
Yes, all honorable mentions. Absolutely.
All honorable. All right, so I didn't play a lot of games this year. Like a lot of new games that came out.
I didn't either.
Which is kind of weird, but it's also relief from last year because it was extremely clustered at the beginning and end.
Yeah.
But anyways, honorable mentions, I'm going to put Dark Souls Remastered. First time going through Dark Souls.
That was your first time?
That's my
I
first
forget.
time.
You'd played the sequels, though,
I
right?
had played the first one, or tried.
Okay.
And I got about halfway through it, so I don't really count it.
Fair
it
enough.
was like
Absolutely.
maybe 2 or 3 years before. So that's on there. Attack on Titan 2.
I forgot about that.
Go take Mode, the best Warriors game from last year. That I played, of course.
Which is sad, since it's not a Warriors game.
Let's go Eevee.
Let's go Eevee. Look at you.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely a blast of nostalgia when I started playing it, but after you beat the game, there's really not too much to do unless you're just like grinding out levels or whatever. So kind of already done with that. And so it didn't really make the list because of that. And Smash was my last honorable mention. These were no order as far as that goes.
Gotcha.
They could be. Actually, you know what? They do make sense in that order. So yeah. I'm not great at Smash, and that's why it is lower in the list. But at the same time, I think it's a fantastic game and having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, that's my honorable mentions, man. That's not many.
Those are some good games, dude. Rayce, honorable mentions.
Okay, so my first honorable mention is a game that technically came out in 2017, but technically released this year on the Switch.
Yeah, that counts. That totally counts.
So this is my first experience really with it. So my first one is Night in the Woods. It's essentially the reason why it's on the list is just its storytelling was super good. The art style is super cute.
I like the way it looks a lot, yeah.
It's also, even though it looks cute and for kids, it's got some very, like, I don't want to say very mature, but some mature topics in it, which is something I wasn't expecting going in, but it was just overall a fantastic story. After that, this game fully released this year. They've been breaking it up in episodes. It is Bendy and the Ink Machine.
That game looks super, super dope to me. Love the art style.
It's essentially, if you have a fear of Disney, it's a fantastic game for you to be horrified. That's really all it is it's just a horrifying
What genre of game is it?
It's sort of I guess you would consider it like a thriller adventure sort of game.
Okay.
Because it's obviously meant to be like kind of scary, but it's not like horrifying like you would find in most horror games. It's mainly just like jump scares and kind of that sort of fear for your life a little bit.
So like young kids probably like this game maybe if they want to get scared. Like, she's really scary.
Is it rated M?
I don't think so. I think it's
T.
T. It's
okay.
Like it's for people like who. I'm trying to think of something that would be kind of similar to what's the one with all the robots that like come scare you? Five Nights at Freddy's. It's more of that type of
weird
sort of like
didn't know that
like horror type. I'd say.
Enough.
And then my last one, because it slipped in like right at the end of 2018, was Deltarune, which is
that's the what you call it sequel, right? Not sequel, but like
it's
related to Undertale.
Sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
It's anagram.
And
anagram,
it's not.
Right?
In it, yeah.
From Deltarune.
I didn't even know that. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what we've seen the connections from them because there's some characters from that game. Toby Fox just does amazing. Music's insane. Still that same sort of feel everyone's liked from it. And it's just overall fun. I'll probably end up putting it on my list again next year because just like Bendy and the Ink Machines, it's going to be released episodically.
Ah, gotcha. I played Undertale for the first time this year. Hunter got it for my
you did?
birthday. He sure did. I liked it a lot. That was really
Did you
cute.
beat it all?
I didn't meet it. I'm still in the.
Okay.
I just started playing a few weeks
Okay.
ago. I liked it a lot. Very, very cute game. What I've played of it
It
thus
is.
far.
It's super adorable.
All right, for my honorable mentions, the first one is The Messenger. Did
Okay.
either one of you get a chance to play that game?
No.
Game is it's a Ninja Gaiden
Yes.
kind of referenced game. The game starts off as a 8-bit, well, like an 8-bit game, and then it switches to a 16-bit game, and then it switches to a Metroidvania. It's got kind of like two twists in it. The game is awesome.
okay.
It's genuinely funny to listen to. It plays better than any of the Ninja Gaiden games back, like in terms of the 8-bit games. It's a great, the game's awesome. I think it's won a lot of awards.
Good.
I think it won. Did it win game? I think it won like best indie newcomer or something at the Game Awards. I know
Yeah.
it won. It
Oh,
won something
okay.
for
Yes, it
sure.
did.
Yeah, that game deserves it because it's fantastic. Fire Pro Wrestling World is a game that's just for me.
I
I
forgot
love it.
about
I
Fire
could
Pro.
easily put that in my top 5 because I played it so much, but I also played it the year before on PC, so that's why I didn't put it on the list. But it would have made my top 5 if it had have.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to Astrobot and Moss. I bought Moss, played through it. Made me a little sick in VR, but it's a very, very cool VR game. Uses VR well. The Astrobot, I've only played the demo, but I played the demo like 10 times, and it's extremely cool. So shout out to the Astrobot demo. Also want to mention Castlevania Requiem, which is just a re-release of Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood. It is not a good re-release. It's not the best versions of the game. It's got the re-recorded voice acting, which is like you just can't do that. I mean, that the part of
No.
yeah,
that sucks.
it really sucks.
The charm
That
kinda
being
goes
said,
away.
it's still a great game, and it's the first time I've been able to play actual Rondo of Blood. The Super Nintendo version was Dracula X. It's remixed, and the levels are different.
What's the who's the main character?
Rayce pointing to his House of Bill monster. What'd you say?
Who's the main character?
Richter. That's the first game
It's
Richter.
Richter?
Richter
Okay.
shows up in.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a Richter collection, basically. So that game's great. I just started playing Fist of the North Star on December 31st. I bought it on sale. If I'd have had a chance to get through the game, I think I'm in chapter 6, either 5 or 6, maybe 7. I don't remember, but I'm about halfway through the game, and I am in love with the game. And there's no chance that wouldn't be my top 5 once I finish it.
What even is it? Because I have no idea.
Have
what
you
this
ever
game or
played any
series
of
is.
the Yakuza games?
No.
Have
They're
you
not
seen
GTA.
them?
They're
Yes.
not GTA.
They're not GTA. It's basically an evolution of. Have you played Shenmue?
No.
Okay. It's basically a beat 'em up.
The Bouncer on PS2.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! I'm just random one.
I totally forgot that even existed.
Yes.
Wow. It is a beat 'em up. You walk around, bad guys come out, you beat them up. It's very much a evolution of, in my opinion, like the Double Dragon type games. But to flesh them out, it's in an open world, and there's lots of mini games. There's like you can bartend, you can race, you can do all kinds of stuff.
I gotcha.
But this specific one is so cool because it's really steeped in the anime, which I've never seen. I've heard of it. I've always thought Fist of the North Star is one of the coolest titles of anything I've ever heard in my life. But it is very, very, very over the top. It plays a lot like Asura's Wrath. Anytime there's a big boss fight, once you get them down to a certain amount of health, it's a mini game with a lot of cinematics. But I love it. The game's incredible. The last one I'm going to mention is Assassin's Creed Origins because it didn't make my Odyssey. Didn't make my list. It should have. I think that game is better than the experience I had with it.
Yeah.
It's definitely better. But for some reason, I played it wrong. That sounds stupid, but I played the game incorrectly. Like like a switch in my head switched, and I said I'm gonna go through and beat every island in order of the like the level, not realizing that the levels would go up with you.
They scale, yeah.
So basically, I kind of noped out at about 35 hours into the game because if you just do are they question marks? I forget. I haven't played in a while.
Yes.
Whatever the points of interest are, if you just do them that way, you really see you kind of see the game for what it is. You see the repetitive textures. You see the exact same layout in every map. Like you start to, the little things that if you're not playing like that kind of get hidden in it. If you play this way, it kind of exposes it. And I wish I hadn't played that way because I was digging the story. I was digging most of the voice acting. I think Cassandra's an awesome character.
Yes, she's fantastic.
So I think you'll probably hear about that game again. That being said, I think it deserves it. It's just I played it wrong. I think you can play games wrong. I think that's totally a thing.
It's highly possible.
And the last thing I'm going to say, Now that I think about it, I don't think Smash made my top 5. It might have, because my number 5 and Smash can be interchanged. Smash is essentially a Castlevania game for me. I've only played as Simon since I unlocked him, but they treated him with so much love and care. Just the music tracks, the level, his storyline mode, what's the classic mode is just it's just so well done. What a wonderful game. I hate that Nintendo celebrates the franchise better than the one that owns it, but had a great time with Smash for sure. Before we get to our top 5, though, let's talk about a disappointment.
Yes.
Race. Biggest gaming disappointment of 2018.
Okay, this one's going to sound very weird.
Okay.
But it's going to end up being Call of Cthulhu.
I heard that was good. Did you play it?
I wasn't actually able to play it.
Okay.
It was mainly like I watched a YouTuber play it because
Okay.
it was getting super close to the end of 2018. It was a game I wanted to experience,
Yeah.
but just didn't have the money.
Heard a lot about that game.
I'm super into games like Wolf Among Us and those type of things, like detective-based games. And from what I
Gotcha.
saw and heard, this was supposed to be a very good detective-based game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you play the beginning of it and then you stop, it's a fantastic game.
Weird.
Because there's lots of mystery. It is an indie game, so a bunch of people will talk about how bad the graphics are.
Pretty
but they're
janky, right?
fantastic for an indie game.
Gotcha.
Like, it's not the best mocap, but it's better than what most other indie game types are.
Mm-hmm.
And there, like, the very first thing you do, like, there's a thing where you have these different ways to, like, kind of get into this warehouse. And you can tell there's lots of love, lots of questions you have to ask, lots of things. And then as the game goes, there's less and less. Chapters start to get really short. And almost all the stuff you put towards experience points and stuff like this to find certain items or have more ability to know about occultism and that kind of stuff,
Gotcha.
like, starts to become not really a thing much anymore, and it starts to just be like, we're just playing it for the story now at this point. I'm not
Gotcha.
actually trying to be a detective anymore.
Gotcha.
And that was why it was super disappointing, because I originally was only going to watch part of it and then go play it once I liked it, but the YouTuber I was watching just kept playing.
Gotcha.
And I was just like, you know what, I'll just keep watching. And just near the end, it just got super disappointing because of that, because I loved the beginning of it and the theme and the way it looked was just so amazing. But that one was a super disappointment for me.
I really like anything set in that type of universe, though. Call of Cthulhu is so cool to me. Man, I hate that because I heard it was pretty cool. It's disappointing to hear. Steven.
Okay, I've got 2, but I want to mention one in one sentence, and that's it. Dynasty Warriors 9. All right, my second one is the fact I already kind of sort of mentioned earlier was that this year wasn't as clustered as last year.
Not at all.
That's kind of disappointing to me for some crazy reason. Like, I really wanted there to be like a lot more games that I just really had to play that released this year, but there was. I already played them all.
Gotcha.
I don't think there might be 1 or 2 games that I just didn't get the chance to play, not counting Red Dead, that I was looking forward to, and I can't think of them off the top of my head. So that's not... It's not like a bad thing. It's disappointing. It's
disappointing,
it's a
yeah.
letdown.
This is not a bad thing. It's just
No.
disappointing. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
That's it. Yeah.
For me,
How
it
about
was Soul Calibur 4 and WWE 2K19. Both of those games came out at the wrong
Soul
time.
Calibur 6?
Soul Calibur 6, not 4.
I was like,
Good Lord.
Dang, you're 10
I'm in
years
the
late.
past, yeah. Soul Calibur 6. I don't know why I said 4. Soul Calibur 6 and WWE 2K19, both those games came out between AAA releases, and
Yeah.
I just didn't have the motivation. I purchased them both, and then I think I played Soul Calibur. It had The Witcher in it, so I was going to get it regardless, but I think I played maybe less than 3 or 4 hours. And WWE, I probably played less than 5 hours, and usually I put a lot of hours into both of those type
We
games.
also haven't had a game night for us to
True.
like play as everyone's
And that's
character.
one of the
again.
reasons I think the WWE kind of fell flat for me. But Soul Calibur, I was super excited about. The game's great. I don't think it looks good enough for the current gen.
Right.
It looks a little bit too last gen for me. I'm not a graphics person, but at the same time, if everybody else has moved up, when Injustice looks like it does, when Mortal Kombat looks like it does, Soul Calibur needs to jump up as well. So that is my disappointment.
All right.
All right.
The good stuff now. The real
Yes.
good stuff.
Before we get to the real good stuff, let's do another good thing, which is our favorite character from the year. Favorite character from the year. I'll go first with this one. I don't know. I don't know my answer.
I don't know him.
They are. It's between It's Arthur. I think it's Arthur.
You just picked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kenshiro at the end from Fist of the North Star, moving up the list, man.
Oh,
Kenshiro's a
okay.
huge badass. Probably the most badass character I've ever played as. That being said, Arthur, if you've listened to the podcast before, every time we talked about Red Dead 2, I talked about how I didn't like the way Arthur was coming off in the trailers at all. I was very not sold on him. By the end of the game, he's easily one of my favorite characters in gaming history. The connection you make with Arthur and Arthur's place in the world, Arthur's place in the gang is unrivaled to me. Not want to say unrivaled because I think Kratos is a pretty close rival. But that being said, Arthur was something else. Steven, what you got?
Okay, Cassandra.
Cassandra over Kratos?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
dude.
I love Kratos to death.
Especially Dad Kratos.
Especially Dad Kratos. He's a completely different character, and that's not a knock. It's just I smiled more, and I felt, it just gave me, I won't say goosebumps, but like I felt more in tune with her
With Cassandra?
as a character.
Gotcha.
Just because she was sarcastic in times where she needed to be sarcastic, and she was serious when she needed to be serious. I mean, of course, you could pick the different options within the game itself, but everything she said was great.
Her voice actress is really good.
Gosh.
Yeah, she is.
Really good.
Just the way they cuss in the game, they say Malaka.
Yeah.
It's constant.
I hope that's like horrible. I hope you just said something horrible. I don't know what it actually stands for.
I'm going to have to put the bat punch censorship over this.
But just inner armor looks really good too.
Almost all of it does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except you have to go in the options and turn off the helmet. I refuse to wear a helmet as her. She's like Xena, dude.
Circlets you can get.
Those are
that
cool.
Still have her hair.
I played
that's
as
what I use primarily.
When I played it as a Xena game. I was just Xena. I was just role playing as what Xena would be.
Exactly.
Rayce, favorite character this year.
Everyone expects Spider-Man. Unfortunately, it's not going to be Spider-Man because that entire game is going to end up being just a big thing for me.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to pick Kratos.
Okay.
Kratos is awesome, man. That's a really good choice.
For me, it was mainly... So the reason why I picked him over Spider-Man is just pretty simple for me because there's lots of little interactions Spider-Man gets with other characters, but it's mostly just kind of him talking over a cell phone. Mm-hmm. In the game, Kratos, the stuff you do with your son, the main one that really comes to my head is when they kind of finish Tyr's vault and they're drinking the wine that was from his homeland.
That's a really cool scene.
And just the part of, because if you play the other three games, Kratos does not have really a nice side to him. He's always, even in his most like endearing moments, like in one of the PSP games, he gets to see his daughter. The happiness isn't there because he knows he immediately can't stay with her.
Yeah.
But having that time where he doesn't necessarily smile, but it's the closest thing Kratos really can get to it.
It's a really well-written scene.
And just like that whole thing between him and his son, I just think is fantastic. And I've said boy like half this year because of it.
Me too.
It's
the voice actor was just perfect choice for casting on that one to me.
It's the best father and son relationship we've seen in a video game. By far, right?
Yeah, probably so.
I'd probably agree with you.
The build up to him calling him son, incredible.
Oh,
absolutely. When it finally happens, it's so well done.
And he wasn't necessarily like bad to his son. He was still he thought he was a good father.
He's already lost one kid. I mean, it's not.
There's not like there's a lot of great father figures in Greece, in Greek mythology. There's not a lot of good father figures,
especially when it's your father actually is Zeus and he stabs you.
Just a garbage person. Not as bad as Odin though, as we will find out, I'm sure soon.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, can't wait.
All right, top 5 games time.
Yes.
Top 5 games of 2018. I'm going to go first. We're just going to name them off. We can discuss afterwards. Okay.
Go for it.
Here's
good.
Number 5. Stupid answer. It's a vampire. Number 4. Spider-Man. Number 3. God of War. Number 2. Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 1. Hollow Knight.
Okay.
For me, Hollow Knight technically came out on PC in 2017, but the console releases and it got its hype in last year. That is my top 5. Before we discuss, Steven, go.
Where's Dragon Ball Fighters?
Not on my list.
Wow.
Not on my list.
My honorable mentions.
I didn't play it much.
You didn't?
Nope.
Oh,
I liked it. It was great, but I didn't play it much.
Okay.
Top 5. Steven, go.
Gosh, I've known Hollow Knight was going to be your number 1.
You did?
I just knew it. That's your game. Like,
it is my game, yeah. It was made specifically for me.
Yeah,
the game is incredible.
I think of that. So, I still think your list is solid, except for Vampire.
Yeah, Vampire does not belong on anybody's top 5 list.
It didn't put my honorable mentions. I just did it all.
That game is a 6.5. The game is not even great.
At most.
Maybe, yeah, I'm not going to argue.
Because of the voice acting.
Jonathan Reed, the main character, is great.
Oh, it's so good.
He's great. I think the character's great. It's kind of like what Rayce was talking about, lots of investigation. I was super into the social.
Yeah.
The social, the idea, the way that like you make connections in the world, and that determines like the more people you heal, and if you resist giving into the urge to bite, the district is better. Like there's just a lot of cool things they did. I think it would have performed better as a Telltale style game with no combat, because the combat in the game sucks. It just straight up does.
Or just quick time event combat.
But like I'm a huge vampire guy, and like they did a good job with it being an independent studio with making it look like old London. Like it looked really cool, even though the graphics were not great, but the lighting was really good. The game's good.
That was the game that like I really wanted on my list, but just never got to play, and I hate that.
I'm gonna replay it. I think it's worth a playthrough for sure. I'm gonna replay it on Switch. It comes out this year on Switch, and they're gonna add the difficulty. They're gonna take there's a story mode difficulty, which like barely makes combat even happen in the game, and that's what I want to do because I was in it for the story and characters. Steven, your top 5 games.
Okay,
what are they?
So this is a special list.
A special list, fair enough.
Yeah.
He's got to get his phone.
Not really controversial.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with number 5, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay.
4, Spider-Man.
Okay.
3, Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Okay.
2, tie, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead. Red Dead I have not played yet all the way, but
yeah,
I had to put it on a list. So since it's special, I gave it a tie with Monster Hunter World. That's exactly where I thought it would be.
I think it's fair
Bump
enough.
it down.
I think that's fair enough.
And of course, number 1, God of War.
God of War. Okay.
So
excellent. I cannot argue with any of those. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised DBZ made it. You played that a lot. And that game is great.
The last time I
Mr.
checked,
Shrofang Fist, are you serious?
I put about
I think you
close to 100 hours into a fighting game. Yeah.
Mr. I don't like fighting games just a few years ago.
Well, I mean, I didn't like them because I wasn't good at them, and then all of a sudden, just
That's the way I was until I got.
Yeah.
I'm not good at them, but until I got decent at them, I didn't like them either.
except for Smash, that's the only one I'm not good at.
Smash, I'm not good at either, but who is it fun?
Yeah.
That's a great list, man. Monster Hunter World, I think, totally belongs there. I wish I'd have gotten more into it. I think I want to give it another shot this year with the Witcher stuff because I do.
Do it.
I want to get into it.
With all the events that they keep putting new events every weekend or like every
Shout
month.
out to Capcom for just totally turning it around, man. What a great company that is now.
Oh,
Like my most anticipated game this year is Resident Evil 2. It comes out in a couple weeks.
So when did they drop the ball? When was the last time they really
It's
dropped
been
it? Street Fighter 5 when it first came out?
When it first came out, but they fixed that.
Yeah.
Because it's great now. The arcade edition's great. Man, Capcom's awesome. Mega Man 11 was great last year.
Oh yeah.
I didn't play it, but what I hear, it's quite good. I played the demo and I liked it. Rayce. Top 5 games.
Number 5 is Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Look at you.
Number 4, Iconoclast. Number 3,
awesome, man.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Number 2, God of War. And what did you expect? Number 1,
Spider-Man for you.
God of War again.
I think that is a great list as well.
Can't argue it.
Can't argue it.
It's too agreeable. This is way too.
I know.
Like, the only one I disagree with slightly is still Brian, and that usually never happens.
You should. That's
I
the
just
correct
really
answer.
had to put Iconoclast on it because this is my first year like actually owning a gaming PC, and I really wanted like all these amazing games for it, and I was like, it's this little 8-bit looking.
Iconoclast looks cool. I need to get into it. It's like a
And
game for me.
It's super fun. You'd enjoy it. Like if you enjoy Metroidvania,
That's my favorite genre.
It's fantastic.
And for the record, God of War is a Metroidvania. Just so you know, that game's a Metroidvania.
yeah, it is.
Not an open world game. Metroidvania. You get powers to unlock stuff. That's a Metroidvania.
Very fair.
All
Love
God of
it.
Wars are.
So is Arkham Asylum.
Oh yeah.
So is Arkham Asylum.
I guess that makes sense.
I easily could have swapped Vampire and Smash, but since I'm only interested in one character in Smash for the most part, I feel like it deserved to be there.
Okay.
2018. I've heard multiple websites say it's the best year in gaming. Do you agree or disagree? I will start. I disagree. Steven.
Disagree heavily.
Me too.
I'm tied. I really don't know, but that's because I feel like there's other years where like games that were more important to me won, so I feel like that's it. But I feel like that's not objective because that's very just.
I agree.
personal.
I think objectively last year was better because of Zelda and Mario specifically.
Yes.
For me, I believe it. No, that was 2016. Never mind. So yeah, that one made it in. Yeah.
I'm just saying, speak loud.
Yeah. Sorry.
Speak louder, Rayce.
You kind of like turned away, and I was just like, oh no, the levels.
No, but yeah, I would say I don't really know because I'm not the biggest on it. So for me, it's just like, was there games? Did I have fun? I did. I had at least top 5 games instead of like top 3 or something like that. So for me, I really couldn't tell you.
I will give my reasoning, and it's the only comparison I have that really makes sense in my opinion. So let's take in the past 10 years, probably the worst year in gaming as far as like what came out game-wise, not hardware-wise. So
Right.
2014.
Yeah, probably so.
My personal game year 2014 was Dragon Age Inquisition.
That's
That
not
game
a-
was an 8.5.
It's not a great year.
And so
It's a rough year.
no game ranked higher. Even though I played Bloodborne afterwards, I still think Bloodborne's a better game. It wasn't that great of a year in my opinion. So let's say you take this year's games. Take the top 10 games from this year, just like from Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes, or whatever. And in your personal opinion, compare them to 2014's top 5.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that 9 out of 10 of those games better than all 5 of those games. Has to be. Just by just thinking of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Do that with 2017.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah.
Every single game from the top 15 was better than the top game from that year. Has to be.
So, like, one of the reasons that 2018 is so good for us is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is something we were specifically looking forward to.
Fantastic.
Something we were specifically looking forward to. Something that the storyline really delivered on. And I think it's very deserving of the 9s it gets. But there is room for that franchise to grow. I expect Spider-Man 2 to be, like, top-tier game. Just going to get rid of the repetitive stuff. There's still some stuff about the combat I'm not crazy about. So, for instance, in Spider-Man, the snipers.
Yeah.
The way that you really are just waiting for lasers to point at your character and dodge is it doesn't feel good to play that way. You don't feel like you're dodging snipers. You feel like you're dodging lines. It's just weird. It's very odd.
Right.
So they kind of utilize that as a crutch to make the game harder.
Have you played any of the DLC yet, out of curiosity?
No, I have not. I still haven't done that. I'm going
They
to wait.
unleashed new enemies.
Well, good. Excellent.
So.
My expectation is that that's the kind of stuff they'll fix in the sequel. This was about getting the engine right, getting the storytelling right, and they nailed that. Red Dead 2 is one of them, I think, the greatest achievements in gaming history, but it's got a lot of flaws. God of War is the one that sticks out this year that just nailed everything on every front. Mm-hmm. I put 2 games ahead of God of War, but I think God of War is the best game that came out this year.
Okay.
Even though I think Red Dead 2 meant a little bit more to me, and then Hollow Knight is just... Hollow Knight's a perfect game. Hollow Knight's a 10 out of 10. It just is. But it's very much made for me and people like me.
Well, it's his personal game of the year.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not like Life or Death.
And I think Hollow Knight's a game that's going to get... I think if you wait a couple years, Hollow Knight's going to be a much bigger deal. People are starting to discover it because it's getting talked about more. Merchandise is getting made. The character design's great. But, there's... God of War is the only one, to me, that you really can put on the all-time list because Red Dead 2 has so many problems. Now, Metacritic-wise, Red Dead 2 is way up there.
Oh, yeah.
But as we separate ourselves from the initial review hype, you're starting to see a lot of people come out sort of against the game. When you're done with Red Dead, I want to have a podcast about it.
Okay.
About spoiling everything through it.
Yeah.
Rayce, I don't know if you'll have a chance to play it, but if you do, there's a lot I want to say about the way the game plays and things they could kind of do differently in the future. Speaking of the future, 2019 is not the future, it's current. This year, we're going to go over really quick some predictions we have for the year. I've got 5 of them. How many did you guys bring?
I got 5.
Excellent.
I got
Rayce?
about 3 or 4.
That'll work. Let me find...
I'm sorry, community.
I like
So
how
I scribbled this down in my car and I took a picture of it.
I said it's like I have 5.
I have 5.
I am here.
All right. How do you want to do this? Do you want to go round robin this time?
Let's go. Yeah, round robin because there's not a numbered list for this. Obviously.
Yeah, there's no
The only thing I'm going to do with mine is I'm going to put I'm going to build up for the ones that seem more likely to very less likely.
Okay.
But I see them all pretty much happening at some point.
The first one from me, Mortal Kombat 11, comes out in April.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is true, like in a week. I think it's going to feature actor likenesses. So the rumor is that the actors are going to give their voices to it. The rumor was that like Ronda Rousey may be voicing Sonya. I think that they're going to go one step further than that, and they will actually have probably, I don't want to give a number, that's not part of my prediction. I'm going to say probably 3 or 4 different, not mainstream actors, but celebrities. Their likeness and voice will be featured in the campaign as these iconic characters.
That would be dope.
It could be cool. It could suck, but it could be cool.
Do we have any idea? Like, do you have like a dream casting?
Well,
Or at least one
the
character or
rumor
something?
was the Ronda Rousey thing, so that could happen with her and Sonya.
Yeah.
I could easily see. I don't know if Jax. I don't know. I wish I knew the roster. If Jax was in it, I could see the the guy. He's an Arrow. He plays the Tiger dude.
Oh, I know you're talking
Oh
about the
my
guy
gosh.
who played Bronze Tiger.
Bronze Tiger. He's also Black Dynamite.
I gotcha.
He was in Dark Knight. What is his name? Michael Jai White? Michael Jai White. Michael Jai White. Is that his name?
No.
I think it is.
Yes?
Something Jai. I think it's Michael Jai White. That's not part of my prediction. My prediction is if there's likenesses of famous people, I'll win that one. Steven, what you got for your first one?
Okay.
Yes.
So,
I was right?
Jai White.
yes, Michael Jai White. Okay.
Okay.
Sweet. This one, I'm definitely going to say there's going to be a PS5 announcement this year.
Okay.
We're gonna see it.
Okay.
We're also going to hear not confirmation,
Okay.
but we're going to see it's going to be backwards compatible, but only with PS4. It's not going
Okay.
to go back to PS3, PS2, nothing like that.
Interesting.
So any digital games that say PS4, any on-disc games, PS4 obviously, are going to
Okay.
be on there. And that's just my first prediction. as
Okay.
far as that goes. We're going to have that announcement. We're going to have the more of the details released this winter.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. Race.
My prediction is that when Devil May Cry 5 comes out, you won't see me for at least a month.
Fair enough. That's when is that?
I don't even
March.
know.
Early
I'm just
March,
excited.
right?
Yeah,
It's close to my birthday.
I think
as well.
that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Is what I
Awesome.
think. Not number 4. Just
No.
the next one.
Yeah, next one.
The PS5 will not be announced this year. Will not be
Oh.
announced. We are now joined on the side by Miss Alex. Hello.
It won't sound
PS5 is
like
not being announced this year.
okay. It won't sound like we cut an episode like real quick.
Probably so. The reason is, I hope you're right, man.
Yeah.
But I think, you remember how often you would hear the rumors right the year before the Xbox One,
Right.
the Orbis, and what was the other one called? What was the other code name called? Do you remember?
Not Morpheus.
I don't remember. Whatever. You just heard a lot about it, and
Right.
we've only really had one story where somebody kind of named that they're in development. So I think the fact that Sony is not at E3 points to you possibly being right about that.
And then last year's showing wasn't the greatest showing as far as.
But I think it's
quantity-
literally
quantity
because they
games.
don't have games right now.
Okay.
Steven, you're next.
My next one, I had to look at my list for this one. Speaking of E3, Nintendo's going to knock it out of the park.
Really?
Nintendo is going to take it all by storm because last year a lot of people didn't like the Smash Direct at all, even though it showed a lot of different games. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. This year they're not going to focus so much on Smash and go more for the quantity of games. We're probably going to see Bayonetta 3
Probably
gameplay.
so. Metroid for sure,
Yes.
which is awesome.
There's a possibility that this is not a prediction for my list, whatever, but the new Pokemon game. The
real one, yeah, the actual one.
We're going to see at least a teaser on that, or even Metroid Prime 4. We're going to see a lot of stuff that Nintendo's going to announce, just knock it out of the park, and I'm totally for it. First year, I'm wanting Nintendo to like really, really take it by storm.
Me and you were thinking really similar stuff. Race, what's your next one?
Okay. I think this next year is going to be probably one of the best years for indie developers.
Okay, excellent.
And not even just
How do you
like,
qualify that? So how's that going to manifest?
So here's what I think on it. So the reason why I say that is, for one, the Game Awards. This was
Okay.
Celeste was a very
Yeah,
big
man.
indie game.
Celeste was huge.
I forget the name of it, but it won like best art direction.
Yep.
It's just starting to become more and more into light. So
Messenger
I think we're
had a
gonna-
bunch of
exactly
hits.
Messenger,
Hollow Knight, great year.
So I believe that stuff like that is going to really start to become a lot more in the forefront. They even had like things talking about, all the new games that were coming out, and a lot of them were very indie. So I think it's going to be more of a relevant thing where we're going to start seeing the lines blurred a lot between professional developers and indie-based titles.
I think there is still a major opportunity in that AA space. I did not buy Darksiders 3. I'm going to very soon. As soon as it goes on sale, I'm buy it.
That's one of the games that I wanted to play.
Me too. That's
that I
the one.
forgot.
That's one of the only
Yeah,
ones I
me too.
missed because I love that franchise so much. But there's a lot of room for that game that's not really AAA in terms of presentation, but it's still fun to play.
Yeah.
Apparently that game's really fun. Kind of throwing back. I've got one that goes with races and the ones that go with yours, but I guess I'll go with Stevens first.
Okay.
To part of the part of Nintendo's year being good will be the rumor of a new Switch model. I think is accurate. I think we'll have a brand new Switch this year. I do not think it'll be like a next gen Switch. It won't be that at all. It'll simply be one that's probably has a better quality screen and better battery life.
Okay.
And I'll buy it. I love buying new handhelds. I don't know why. I just love it. Hopefully that they eliminate some of the bezel. The bezel's a little bit too thick on the Switch. And I don't think it will come with a dock. I think it will come with an HDMI port that you just take because that's part of that's like the one design thing that's kind of weird. Why not just plug it directly into the system? It's kind of weird to have to dock it. So you can just literally take the handheld to your friend's house and plug it in their TV. Steven, what you got?
Okay. So I want to say that we're going to have another Sony thing. I'm always on Sony's butt with this stuff. So
I've got more Sony stuff too.
PSVR 2.0. I think we're going to have a upgraded model also.
So this goes well with your
headset.
other one. You have. Yes. I think there's no way they do it on PS4.
No.
You think it's tied to PS5, right?
I think it's tied to PS5.
Okay.
But I also think that we're going to have an announcement around the same time.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think it's more likely that this 2.0 will be announced more so than the PS5.
Okay.
But I don't even know the name is going to be PSVR 2.0 or whatever, PSVR 2. Who knows what it's going to be named? Probably just a random 2. But it's just going to have a much, much more improved screen when it comes to viewing.
That's the only thing it's missing, man.
Yeah.
PSVR is an incredible experience. You have a PSVR, Rayce?
I do not.
I'm gonna let you borrow mine. I'm not playing it right now. It's like incredible, dude. But it does not look great. That's the problem. It has a really bad screen door effect.
See, I don't think you're wrong on that because even like the HTC Vive just released a Pro model to help with like the pixelation and all that stuff. So I think you're very accurate on that.
I think that's probably. I was a minute ago. Alex had a Star Crunch, and it is gone. And there was like 30 seconds of delay. What happened? Good Lord, you are a monster. Because it's no. I just like saw it, and then I looked at Rayce, and I looked back, and I was like, I know I saw some Star Crunches, but they are gone.
Well, every day she brings like probably 2 Star Crunches to class, and if you have good students, they can get the Star Crunch, but they never get the Star Crunch, and you always eat it.
Oh,
because I would do it.
Whole batch of brownies downstairs.
I love.
Ate it with a spoon.
You ever?
Probably.
This is. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but do you ever put peanut butter on a Star Crunch? Change your life. God have mercy.
I would say I will now, but that's with both the Star Crunch
it's so
butter
good, dude.
and change my life.
Rayce, next one.
Okay, so my thing, I guess it's more of a weird hope to have,
Okay.
I would say.
Fair enough.
But for me, I think it's going to be a year where you'll start seeing more handheld consoles. So maybe
Beyond the Switch, you mean?
Yeah.
Interesting.
As much as because Sony's really tried to get like their PSPs, the PS Vita,
I love the Vita
and all
so much.
that kind of stuff to work, but it just was like we'll have some games be cross-platform with it, some that'll be made specifically for it. I think they're gonna try and do a better job this year. I think the third time we'll actually get it right.
I hope so.
Because the fact that it had interactivity and stuff like that was super nice on the Vita. They just didn't use it well. And I think if they retry that thing, it'll do really good. Plus, Nintendo's got the Switch, which is an insane thing.
Switch is incredible. Switch is incredible.
For that type of thing going to be a console that is handheld. I think that is
the Switch completely delivered on the Vita's promise and the Wii U's promise. Neither one of those things got it right. Vita wasn't really close to getting it right, but it tried. And then Wii U, because you can only be like 30 feet away from the thing, super didn't work.
No.
But the Switch is, man, like it's hard to, like if I have the option to play a game on PS4 or Switch, I usually choose Switch unless it just looks way, way better on PS4, but yeah.
Then the other thing of it is that I definitely don't think if that does become a thing, Microsoft is not going to join it at all. They just have always just kind of cut that out.
I actually think that the Vita doing as bad as it did, I think Sony's out for that. I think they've given that up to Nintendo. And I think Nintendo might be okay just having that area.
Yeah.
And be like, we're handheld guys.
That's where they excel.
Yeah.
I was super
3DS or
because
DS.
For me, that's what made the Switch so interesting to me because even though I have like a 3DS and stuff like that, it wasn't I just don't have a lot of time for like handheld games because for me a handheld games means I'm going somewhere or I'm waiting in an area. When I'm home, I want to play a console.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm able to play all the games that is a handheld variant essentially on my TV, I think that's what really did it for me.
I like taking There's certain games that I think play extremely well handheld. Persona is a game that plays incredibly well handheld. Like I'm going to rebuy 5 and finish it when it comes on Switch because
Good.
that's the kind of game that when it gets to the grindy parts, that's the thing I can do when it's time to eat dinner. I go take it downstairs. Let me just kind of play through dinner. Watch a movie I don't care about. I'll be playing the Switch at the same time. Go to the hospital for a few days, which happens often in my life. Play Persona. Next on the list,
That was sad.
Bloodstained.
Speaking of
Ritual of the Night
Yes.
does not come out this year.
Really?
2-year delay, yeah. Something's wrong with that game, man.
Holy moly.
Every single thing that comes out about that game. They just canceled the Mac, Linux version. They canceled the Wii version, but that was to be expected.
Yeah.
It's just, and they've added a developer to assist them like last month. Something's wrong with the game. I don't think this spells bad things for the game. I think these are all necessary steps to take. But I do not think that game's close to being ready.
Who's the developer again?
Which one do you want to talk about? There's like 5 of them now.
who's the one that's heading it has been there the longest?
505 Games maybe. And
Okay.
Inti Creates is helping again. After not, it's very confusing.
Oh.
What you got, Steven?
Okay. We got 2 more left, right? We've already said.
You should have 2 left.
I should have 2
I've
left.
got 1 left after that.
Okay. So this is one of the bold ones.
Okay,
And it's not exact.
fair enough.
But by the end of the year, along with Sony Experience or whatever they're going to do at the end of the year,
Okay,
we are going to see, by everybody's surprise, a Death Stranding release window year.
okay. is that year 2020? Is it next year or is it this year?
2020? Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be the end of 2020. I believe that's when it's going to come out. If it has to delay, early 2021.
The rumor is that it is a PS4 game. It's not a PS5 game. That's the
Okay.
rumor. So that's the case. It kind of has to come out next year, or it's too late.
Right.
Because even if I don't think we're going to get the PS4 announcement or PS5 announcement this year, I think we'll get it next year around March. It'll release at the end of 2020. But if that game doesn't come out soon, it's not going to hit. Rayce.
I don't have any more, really.
Fair enough. My last one.
Yes.
Days Gone
Mm-hmm.
for the PlayStation. First party AAA title will score below 80 on Metacritic.
That's easy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair assumption.
You know what I see that
The
actually
last
score?
trailer was really dope, but I
Yeah.
don't think that game. The game's not bad. Attaboy, thank you. I don't know what you just killed, but something on my shoulder. What was it, Spider?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That could have been my chance, dude. If you just screwed me out of being Spider-Man, then we'll hate you. You'll be my.
Spider Sona was that close.
It was that close, dude. Now it's nothing. So yeah, I think that game's not going to review well. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I don't think it's going to play very well either. Steven Sroff, wrap us up.
Yes. My final one is a big one.
Oh, no.
There's going to be another, because I almost predicted it. No, actually, I predicted it last time, I think, with a major studio falling.
Okay.
This year, I think the same thing.
Okay.
And no, it's not Bethesda.
Yeah, there's
I
no
do
way.
think Bethesda flubs again
But
with
what-
something. I don't know. Rage?
I think Rage will review well. That game looks too
I think
good.
it'll review well, but not sell well.
Maybe.
I think
Fallout
it's
sold
not going
well.
to sell nearly as well.
Fallout 76 sold well. It just
Exactly.
sucks. Apparently.
So Bethesda, just because of what everybody's saying, same thing for EA the year before, they're not the studio's going to close. It's going to be Platinum. Platinum actually was saved by Nier Automata last
Platinum
year.
is doing well. Platinum's doing well.
So what was before? Visceral, right?
This was the last big one to go that I remember.
I don't really know which studio. I just have another feeling because usually another studio always falls every year.
Yeah,
Telltale was
definitely
last
something.
year.
Telltale was this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
last year. I guess that would be the last big one.
That's the big.
I hope
last
that
big-
Ultimate Alliance is good and it's not Team Ninja.
Yeah.
But Team Ninja has got 2 big games coming out this year. I'm assuming Ultimate Alliance 3 is this year. It looks like a game that would come out within a year after being announced.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they also have DOA 6 that comes out next month.
Mhm.
And if either one of those games fail big, they could be in.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. I love Team Ninja. Rayce, any last words for 2018, even though we're in 2019?
For me, it was a good year.
Me too. I liked it. It was good. Good year.
Overall, good. Yes.
Like, not in the world. It was a bad year in the world. But, for our little hobbies, very
Yeah.
fun.
I don't know. For me, it was fantastic. I had to join a few cool guys in a fun podcast. I wonder what that would have been.
I would say it's the best podcast. And with that, I bid you adieu.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again. This has been AwardBusters.